Here are 11 things you must know before you travel to Sumatra, Indonesia.
We've been living on and travelling around this incredible island for the last 8 years, and we have so much information to help you have an amazing trip.
So starting with a packing tip.
Sumatra has a lot of Indomarets and Alphamarts and small shops even in the remote villages. So most things that you forget to bring, you can get here quite easily. But there are a couple of things that are quite hard to get.
Yes.
So one of those is a good DEET mosquito repellent to keep the mosquitoes away. You can get mosquito repellents all over Sumatra, but they don't have those strong DEET ingredients in them. So best to bring some from home. Second thing is sunscreen. Because this isn't something commonly used by Indonesians, it's not that readily available, and when it is, it's really expensive. So bring a big tube with you from home. And the third thing for women is sanitary products. So you can buy pads here, but tampons are really hard to hunt down and you don't want to spend your time looking for them. So bring your own or use something like a moon cup so you don't have to worry about throwing your rubbish away.
Number 2, take your time. Sumatra may be an island, but it's a big island. The 6th largest island in the world. But it's not just about the size. Transportation in Sumatra can be a headache.
When planning your trip, don't underestimate how long it can take to get from A to B. And don't always trust Google when it tells you travel time, because usually it's lying. While improved roads and new highways have made getting around Sumatra a lot easier, there are still a lot of roads that are not in great condition. And even though they seem short distances, they may take you a lot longer to travel than you expect.
On top of that, domestic flights in between provinces can be really expensive and public transport can be really slow or uncomfortable. If you have less than 1 week, we suggest sticking to a couple of places in one province and take your time to enjoy them. If you have more time, let's say 2 weeks, then consider adding another province.
Tip number 3, get yourself an Indonesian SIM card before you leave the city. These days, a lot of places in Sumatra do have Wi-Fi, but not everywhere, and especially those smaller jungle villages might not. Luckily, SIMs and cell phone data are affordable, so it's a really good idea to pick yourself up a Telkomsel SIM. Unfortunately, that's not quite as straightforward as it sounds. Short-term travellers staying for less than 3 months need to visit an official Grapari Telkomsel store and take their passport and register to get that SIM. You only find these Grapari stores in larger cities and towns, so really make sure you sort this before you head off onto any of your more remote adventures.
If you do get stuck and you have more money, you can buy a local phone. It will cost you about $100 or even less.
Yeah,
Like that.
and then you won't have to register the SIM because it's local.
Yes.
Side note, WhatsApp is a really essential app that you should download before you head off on your trip. Most guides, drivers, accommodations, and even immigration communicate over WhatsApp rather than email.
Yeah.
So it's really handy to have and get that before you head off on your trip.
Number 4, carry cash. In Sumatra, a lot of people and businesses use a cash, so make sure you always have some with you. There are plenty of ATMs in town, city, and in between destinations. Mostly in the Indomaret or Alfamart, they'll have them. But the smaller villages, usually they don't have them. Even in one of the most popular places in Sumatra, which is Bukit Lawang, you need to go to nearby Bahorok to find one. If you're not sure if your destination has an ATM, best to pick up your cash on the way.
We highly recommend using a Wise account to switch between currencies and get the cash that you need at really good rates. Even better, get yourself a Wise debit card. We've been using them for the last few years, and you can use them at different ATMs around Sumatra. Check out the details in our description. We've got a link to Wise if you want to check it out. Right, tip number 5 is to relax. Prepare yourself for a bit of rubber time and maybe a bit of disorganization. Sumatra is not the most easy place for people who really like to have a strong plan, and here's why. Sumatra is still a relative baby in the tourism world, which has its upsides and downsides. One of the challenging things for travellers who like to plan is the lack of schedules, the lack of information, and the lack of online booking options. Sometimes there are reliable schedules for buses or ferries, particularly the long distance ones, but if you are using public transport, a lot of the time you're going to be winging it. So that means getting on the first leg of your bus and then getting to the next leg and asking around at the bus station, how do you get to the next place, or asking at your warung, or asking at your guest house. It can also be tricky when you're trying to book accommodation ahead of time online. There are many places now that do have websites, active Facebook pages, or they're on booking platforms, but a lot of the smaller places are quite hard to get hold of to even book your accommodation. If you're struggling with this, we recommend joining Facebook groups, get more information, or let go a little bit and plan as you go. Or contact someone like us, because we have connections all over Sumatra and we can help you get in touch with some really awesome local businesses. We also recommend building a bit of a rubber schedule to go in with Indonesia's famous rubber time. Leave yourself a bit of space between important flights to make sure you can get where you're going to.
Before we continue to number 6, if you finding these tips is useful, don't forget to give us like, comment and subscribe.
Yep, we have lots more useful information and tips about living in and travelling around Sumatra.
Number 6, learn some Indonesian words and phrases. On the tourist trail, many local people speak English very well and often a few words from a range of other languages. But the further you get off the beaten path, the easier it is if you know some Indonesian.
Being able to speak with a wider range of people than just your tourist providers will give you a much more enriching experience here in Indonesia, and the local people do really appreciate it, even if it's not perfect.
Throw a little Indonesian phrase book in your backpack or do a few lessons in Duolingo to get you started.
Yeah, that's how I did it. Tip number 7, you might want to practice your squatting. If you've travelled Southeast Asia before, you probably have an idea of what to expect when it comes to the restrooms here in Indonesia, but if not, we just need to give you a little heads up. The standard local toilet is squat style with no toilet paper, but there are an increasing amount of Western style sit-down toilets all over the place, especially in popular tourist areas. Most toilets come with a bum gun, which is like the squirty hose, or a bucket of water that comes with a gayung to wash yourself. These are great, but personally I still often carry toilet paper with me just so I can stay dry and comfortable. Bear in mind that many of the waste systems in Sumatra can't accommodate toilet paper or wipes or anything put down them, so often they'll have rubbish bins next to them for you to throw things away. I also always carry a sealable plastic bag, especially if you're in the jungle, because you don't want to leave any rubbish there. And then if you do use toilet paper, you can tuck it away in the bag, seal it shut and put it in your bag until you get to a rubbish bin.
The tips, if you don't know how to use a squat toilet, it's literally just take the scoop and take the water from the bucket and just splash around the toilet.
Yeah.
That's how we clean it.
That's how you flush, yeah?
That's how we flush.
You don't even flush, just a couple of scoops of water.
Sure, yeah. Number 8, treat the wildlife with respect. Sumatra has amazing wildlife to see, from the cute macaques all over the island to the leaf monkeys, orangutan, elephant in the jungle. In some area, it is pretty easy to see some wild animals and even get close to them. But before you do head to the jungle or sanctuary, please think about how to enjoy the rainforest and each animal respectfully.
Yeah. As exciting as it may seem to feed an orangutan or ride an elephant, consider the consequences that your actions might have for the animal. Close contact with any primate, that's orangutans or monkeys, can put their lives at risk. They can easily catch illnesses from us, even a common cold or flu, which can really impact them and potentially kill them. And also, any interaction we have with them does change their natural behaviour in the wild and their ability to survive in the wild. For more info on ethical experience in Sumatra, read the blog that we've got listed in our description. Number 9, dress modestly. Sumatra is a more conservative part of Indonesia than Bali, for example, so you need to give a little thought about how you're going to dress in different areas. Of course, such a big and diverse island has different expectations in different parts.
For example, in Lake Toba area, it's not really strict. Singlet, short sundresses are all acceptable here. Although we don't recommend going Bali style and wearing a bikini to the shop and restaurant. In other part of Sumatra, you need to cover up a bit more.
For women, that means long pants or skirts and minimal t-shirts or long sleeve shirts.
For guys, long shorts or pants and t-shirt or long sleeve shirts.
Even when swimming, it pays to have done a bit of research before you go about the area expectations. In some places like Lake Toba and Pulau Lawang, bikinis are normal, they're fine. But in other areas, the acceptable minimum would be board shorts and a t-shirt. So just maybe do a little bit of research about what place you're heading to first. And if you're unsure about where you're going, just keep a sarong in your bag. You can use it as a skirt or a shoulder cover, whatever you need.
Number 10, be prepared for a lot of attention and photos. Sumatra is getting more popular with international tourists every year, but they're still rare enough to stand out. Get used to receiving a lot of attention when you're out and about, especially outside of the main tourist spots. The attention is not negative, people just curious and just want to talk with you.
You'll probably be asked for a lot of selfies, and you might hear people talking about you as bule, which essentially just means foreigner. It's not a bad thing. Indonesians also aren't shy about personal questions, right? They're probably going to come up and ask you, of course, where you're from, where you're going, are you married, do you have kids yet, all sorts of things like that. For some of us that might be a bit upfront, but it's really just normal for Indonesians, even with each other.
If you're out walking, you probably get asked like mau kemana, which means where you're going, and you can answer just jalan-jalan like that.
Yeah, you don't have to specifically tell them the address or where you're going, what you're doing, but just tell them jalan-jalan, which means just walking around, and they're It's just their way of interacting with you.
Exactly.
It's all really harmless and actually quite nice when you are open to it, and gets you a chance to interact with the locals better, which brings us to our final tip. Number 11, love the locals. Get to know the local people. One of the standout things that people tell us they love most about Sumatra is how friendly and kind and welcoming the people are. Take the time to talk to the woman at your local warung serving you food, and you might end up with a friend for life. Or chat with the old guy fishing outside your villa, and you might end up getting asked back to his place to share dinner with his family. Indonesians are so lovely, and the people of Sumatra are no exception. If you make the effort to talk to them and spend time with them, you might just find that your trip from Sumatra is elevated from amazing to unforgettable.
So guys, that is 11 tips you should know before you travel to Sumatra, Indonesia. But the awesome info doesn't end there. If you like more to know in depth how to travel to Sumatra, we covered everything you need to know over on this video somewhere up here.
And we've also got a fantastic companion guide over on our website, which you can see in the description.
If you have a question about what we have talked about here or thing we haven't covered, please comment below. We will do our best to answer. Alright, so terima kasih
and see you in Sumatra.